Tim Pool has had enough of Candace Owens. And I've played a couple of clips from him in the past on this channel, but really in this one, I think he really hits the nail on the head because he outright just says what it is, that this is evil. It's going to mess us up. It's going to cause us to lose critical elections in the future because of this ridiculous distraction, amongst other things as well that we'll talk about later. But I think he really nails it here. So before we get into this, watching this video, quick reminder to like this video as well and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.
It's Huey says, Tim, I work in construction and experience the same thing. My coworkers are all in on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. If the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible. She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected. Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally, all of the fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her, because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck. You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag, okay? And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna lose the midterms. We're gonna lose the midterms, then we're gonna lose in 2028, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest, retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason? Now, guess what? I'm not on the best of terms with Turning Point either. In case you didn't remember, they didn't invite us this year, and it's become a big thing or whatever. I have nothing. I can say I know what they are. I know what they do, and I'm glad they do it. And if we don't get along, so be it. I don't know that they make it without Charlie, whatever. But what is the purpose of intentionally fanning the flames for 3 endless months of just nonstop retard shit, Candace? Holy crap. Initially in the beginning, she brought up some interesting things. New photos had emerged, and I said, wow, I even said this to Andrew Colvett at Turning Point at the beginning of October. Now she's at the point where it is video after video where she's saying it's an inside job. She's saying there's a video of the dude, Mikey McCoy, grabbing his phone and making a phone call, and she's acting like that's weird. And then you get this other guy who's claiming that the business is a parking lot. Well, he full well knows businesses can be registered anywhere. To be fair, it's not only just Candace and saying what she's saying. It is all of these people who are like piranhas ripping the right to shreds. And you know what? A lot of cowards on the right being unwilling to say anything about it. Well, this is where we go. The Democrats are trying to find a way back to reality. They published this thing where they said, oh, we've got to, it's called Deciding to Win. And they said, we have to address kitchen table issues. Like hell, I would ever vote for someone like Elizabeth Warren or Gavin Newsom. But what I think is likely to start occurring now is the grifter right is cannibalizing itself. You are going to see the right now move from a populist base more to a neocon base. Democrats are going to go to war internally over the far left, and you'll see the emergence now of these deciding to win types, which, like Stephen A. Smith, will start agreeing with people like me and Joe Rogan. And they're going to try and win back the ground, and they're going to utilize the absurdity, psycho-reality of Candace Owens to rip people from the right so that Democrats can start winning again. And that is the reality the right has to contend with. Conservatives had a coalition. Charlie helped build it. Disaffected liberals came on board. People like Candace are intentionally burning it to the ground. Stephen A. Smith is coming out. Bill Maher, even now coming out more reasonably. The Democrats are going to reemerge. Those that sold their souls for woke and to COVID are going to lose out, and they're going to retire. The AOC types, you're going to see her desperately try to moderate. But we're going to see in these swing districts, they're going to try. Now, that being said, hyperpolarization, as I've already described, may affect New York and Los Angeles and Chicago. So we will see. Maybe it all just gets ripped apart anyway, and you end up with 15 different factions all fighting for power in the federal government. All I can say is it is frustrating to look at everything that's happening in the world and realize, for a brief moment, my friends, maybe it's a little bit too black-pilled, but I'll say what I'm going to say. It looks like victory. A year ago, it wasn't a long, protracted election. It was a snap and done. Trump won. Wow. And then one by one, cracks in this coalition begin to form. For whatever reason, the falling of Daily Wire, the ousting of Jeremy Boring, he's gone. Whatever it is going on with Daily Wire, I have no idea, but for some of these guys, their views have gone down. There's been heavy critiques. There's the Israel and anti-Israel rights now fighting each other. You see these cracks forming. You get the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes dispute, and now Candace Owens is trying to burn down Turning Point. And so what it feels like to me is we're watching the ship sink.
So there you have it. And some of the takeaways from this are, first of all, that the left is pulling themselves together. They're getting things done now that we've been seeing in recent elections. And it's like people are just ignoring what's going on. But the momentum is not on the conservative side right now in a lot of ways, just because of the fact that we're so distracted by all of these things that are going on. But I think it all starts and is kind of centered around these conspiracy theories that we're using to try and explain everything. But I've mentioned it before as well that there are two different types of people that are out there in politics right now. There are those that are, of course, building things up, trying to make things better, and bringing in people to the fold of conservatism, which is what Charlie Kirk did. That's literally the point of TPUSA, was to bring people in, to build people up towards conservatism and towards God. But the problem is that when you have people like Candace Owens doing what she's doing right now, she is tearing it all down. She's not building anything. She's never built anything. And I'm so sick and tired of these people that are saying, well, she's got the #1 podcast and she did this and that. Guys, let's keep in mind that Candace Owens was literally a Democrat not that long ago. She had basically zero to no following initially. And then once she was swapped over to being the conservative person, she was pretty much immediately picked up by PragerU because they were looking for these potential influencers and everything. PragerU then goes on to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars in advertising, which, in case you don't know how important that is, if you had $5 million or something, let's just say, for example, to advertise somebody, myself or anyone else, you would immediately be well known because that's enough money to put you in the public eye, okay? So Candace Owens has had this funding behind her. Then, after PragerU ended their contract, she then moved to Daily Wire, where it was reported that they were spending well over $3 million a year on, get this, Facebook ads alone. The same platforms that at the time we were claiming were censoring conservatives. Daily Wire was paying them $3 million a year just for her, not to mention the $1.5 to $2 million that were being spent on Shapiro and Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh. So to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm self-made. No, you're not. You're not self-made. You have been bankrolled to where you're at today. You haven't been at Daily Wire for a while now, but the reality is that if it wasn't for those tens of millions of dollars being spent and put into you like above anyone else, you wouldn't be where you're at today. But that's what's caused a lot of people to be quote unquote afraid of her, is that they don't want to speak out about it because they know that if you say the slightest thing out of turn, she's going to attack you, she's going to just retweet you, and she's going to sick her audience on you as well to say, no, dislike this video or do that or comment on whatever it is, because these people are completely delusional about what's going on. I mean, there was literally a recent clip where she told people that she was embarrassed about the fact that she recommended that people actually voted for Trump. I mean, so the evidence is there. And don't get me wrong, it's perfectly fine to criticize the president. But if I go back and I said I'm embarrassed that I told people to vote for him, I'm kind of saying I'd rather have Kamala Harris win, or at least at the very least that we shouldn't have voted for him and Kamala Harris wound up winning anyways. Like, I mean, what are we doing here at this point? Like, who else was there? And it's just ridiculous that she's not a Trump supporter. She's right in the same camp with Nick Fuentes and everybody else now that is on this train. But this stuff is divisive to the right in and of itself. And while we're over here with this person that's just sowing all this misinformation and whatever, so you have the left that's saying, you know what, while they're in disarray, let's do something about it. Let's pull our cards together. We're going to get our stuff together so that once these elections happen, it won't work anymore. But the biggest point of all of this is the fact that the reason why I believe that Trump won so easily is because of something that he continuously repeated on the campaign trail, which is the fact that the Republicans were the party of common sense. That was something that he said all the time. It's like these basic things we just know aren't true. This basic knowledge that the left is trying to spread, these things, these policies that they are trying to tell us that we know just are lies. It's not common sense. And I think that resonates with a lot of people because it just looked like Republicans were normal and it made Democrats look like they were the ones that were trying to play all of these political games. And that's what made, I think, a lot of people actually really want to vote for Republicans, and it appealed to a much broader audience of people. And I think that's why Trump actually was able to get a very historic popular vote. But if we look at where things are going now, is that because things are so divided on the right and because of the things that are being said on the right, what's going to wind up happening is that these people are going to say, this doesn't look like the party of common sense that I voted for previously. This looks like a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists that are going on trying to tear down a man's legacy, everything that he's done. I mean, who has done more to get Trump elected, TPUSA or Candace Owens? And or at least even in just fighting for biblical values, fighting for conservatism in general, who's done more? Because I would argue that Candace has done absolutely nothing, especially when she goes out there and says that she regrets telling people that they should have voted for Trump. I mean, it's gotten to this point. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.